I'm here to talk about the ACFRE, the Advanced Certified Fundraising Executive Credential, which unlike the CFRE program, unlike the Certified Fundraising Executive Credential, is a program of AFP under the Center for Fundraising Innovation, which is chaired ably by Vice Chair Darrell Upsall. I want to go back to something that Ty Bennett said earlier in our meeting, which is, he alluded to, why are you here? Why do you do what you do? Because I got to admit, why do you keep fundraising when very often internal and external pressures are pushing you to raise more and more money with less and less resources? Why do you volunteer for your AFP chapter or for AFP leadership when it may feel at times that it is completely unappreciated and unrecognized? Why do you make the personal sacrifices that you make in order to stay in the philanthropic sector? Because I'm pretty darn sure everyone in this room could go into some kind of for-profit endeavor and make a ton more money. So why do you do it all? Why do you do it all? Well, to quote the famous US President, John F. Kennedy, we do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. I'm going to tell you right now, the ACFRE is not easy. I could stand up in here and say, okay, everyone, you can do this, you can do it. Well, the truth of the matter is, there are some people who won't want to do this. There are some people who won't want to pursue it at all. Some people may not even find value to it. But as essentially the top credential in our profession, I'm going to tell you, point blank, this is hard. You have to really want this in order to do it. When I did mine, it was not the right time. In fact, I can tell you right now, it will never be the right time to do this. And I'm sure the people in the room who've done it will say, yeah, I picked a really lousy time to do this. When I decided to pursue my ACFRE in 2009 and 2010, I was serving as Vice Chair of Membership Services for AFP International, the seat that's currently held very, very ably by my friend Vivian Smith over there. I was also, at the same time, because of a very strange phone call I got prior to starting my term as Vice Chair, a call from my president, my chapter president, saying, our president-elect is moving and I've literally called everyone else in the chapter and you need to serve as president again. So at the same time I was vice chair, I was president of my local chapter. I wouldn't recommend it. And then I was also trying to build my consulting practice in the middle of a recession. And you add family commitments and community commitments, and it was a really bad time to pursue my ACFRE. But I did, and I failed. I failed multiple times on the written exam. I failed the written exam so many times that by the time I got my final scores, I couldn't even open the letter. I gave it to my then 9-year-old son and said, can you read this and tell mommy if she needs to cry or not? But I got through it. I got through all 4 stages, and I got this piece of metal. Frustrated me after I hung this medal around my neck was that this wasn't the end. This wasn't something I could just check off. In fact, strangely enough, this became a beginning of a new stage of my career. Because as I went through the process, it really forced me to come to grips with what I didn't know and to work on my weaknesses, but it also allowed me to embrace the things I did know and realize there were things I was really good at. But it also gave me the opportunity to set new aspirational goals and really think about my own personal philanthropic journey. So it was the beginning of a process. It wasn't the end, just getting the medal. So why did I keep going? Well, part of it was just a personal, internal drive saying, you really want to do this. But as several people in the room can attest, there were some people who needed to kick me in the rear every now and then. One person who inspired me was Barbara Levy, who is a member of the Southern Arizona chapter and an ACFRE. And she called me when she found out I got my CFRE in 1999, and she was, okay, great, you've done that, now you need to prepare for your ACFRE in about another 8 years. Thanks, Barbara, I think. Then there was Walt Gillette, a member of the DC chapter, who went through the process right before me and had to tell me, you can get through this, because he also failed the written exam a few times. Then there was my my president-elect at the time, Christina Adams, who kept saying, Alice, we're the Northern Arizona chapter. You know, if anyone's going to get the ACFRE and represent us, it's got to be you, because no one else can do it. And of course, Jim Anderson, my general partner in crime and business colleague, who said, okay, yes, I know you're having a panic attack, but you need to get through this because I just can't continue to deal with your panic attacks. So maybe there will be a team of people who get you through this process. Or maybe one of the people that I'm about to mention will inspire you to do this as well. And I would like the people that I mentioned to stand and remain standing until I tell you to sit down. I want to start with Brian Bondi, who is the chair-elect of the AFP Foundation for Philanthropy, and also an accomplished stage performer. If you follow him on Facebook, there's some pretty good photos. Scott Portland, a member of the ACFRE board, chair of the awards committee, and a Triumph motorcycle enthusiast who drove all the way from Toronto to DC for a meeting once, and we kept teasing him that he wore his medal the entire way. Audrey Kinsey, who is a leader with the AFP Foundation as well, and probably, I think, personally, one of the best presenters on ethics in the entire association, so thank you, Audrey. Leah Eustace, current chair of the AFP Foundation for Philanthropy Canada, probably one of my favorite genuine and authentic people, and really throws herself into her work for AFP because she actually jumped out of a plane for AFP as a fundraiser in the summer. Thank you, Leah. Jan Brazel, who also serves on the AFP International Association board and also is a great presenter on ethics and recently led some roundtables in her neck of the woods, so thank you, Jan. Sinai, are you here? Okay, I promised I wasn't going to shout out people who weren't here. But Sinai Takamura, let me just mention, tells a mean ghost story. And she sent me an email about a ghost story that she says she's experienced, and it totally freaks me out over email. So Sinai's awesome. Martha, have you arrived? Martha Schumacher?
Yep, it's here.
There she is! Martha Schumacher. Vice Chair of External Relations for AFP International, and just flew in from the Netherlands, where she was presenting at the International Fundraising Congress, and also is a member of the first graduating class of the International Advanced Diploma on Fundraising. So thank you. And you can sit down now. So I also want to briefly recognize the 6 people who earned their ACFREs this year. This is the largest class of ACFREs that we've had since 2010, and they will be recognized at the Celebration of Philanthropy at the AFP International Conference in Boston. And the 2015 class is Ann Charles Watts, Kathy Cessna, Brett Loney, Barbara Tartaglia-Poor, Carol Carberry, and Ben Mueller. So a round of applause for them. Pretend like you want to do this, and you want to talk to one of us, particularly Scott Fortnum or myself, if you're interested. What are the eligibility requirements for this credential? Well, first of all, obviously you need to be a professional in the fundraising sector, and you have to have either a CFRE, an FAHP, or the IADF, which is the previously mentioned International Advanced Diploma on Fundraising. I do want to highlight on this screen that you have to have at least 10 years of experience, or if you have experience at a senior level in the nonprofit sector but not in fundraising for that whole 10 years, it could be 15 years of overall experience. On the next screen, a couple things I want to emphasize are that we do expect that you have professional development hours in advanced level management, leadership, and ethics, and you also need to be volunteering in the sector and in the profession. And the difference between those two things is the profession is what you're doing now. It's your work for AFP, for other professional associations, that sort of thing. The volunteering in the sector is going to be for volunteering for other local community boards, things with your family, that type of thing. Those count as volunteer hours in the sector. So the combination of all these things means you're eligible. And if you're interested in pursuing it because you think, hey, I'm eligible, and gee, one of those people that stood up with big medals on their chest, they inspired me. You can contact Kathy Williams, who is our very reliable program coordinator who can get you all the information, or you can contact either Scott Fortnum or myself for additional information. The last slide that I have is the current ACFRA credentialing board, and again, if you know any of these people, first of all, thank them for their service, because we do a lot of work in this board, as a lot of AFP committees do. And if you have any questions about the credential, any one of these board members would be happy to answer your questions. So thank you for all that you do, and hopefully I've inspired some of you to potentially take on this thing, because it is kind of fun to get this. So thank you.